More than 25 years after the killing of Tupac Shakur, a defining tragedy in hip-hop, a self-described gang member named Dwayne Keith Davis, who has repeatedly claimed involvement in the drive-by shooting, was indicted on a murder charge, according to Las Vegas prosecutors. Davis has asserted that the 4 shots that killed the rapper in 1996 were fired from the vehicle he was riding in. This development revived a blockbuster investigation that had long stalled. The man, Dwayne Keith Davis, has said in interviews and a memoir that he was in the front passenger seat of the white Cadillac that pulled up near the vehicle holding Mr. Shakur after a 1996 prize fight between Mike Tyson and Bruce Seldon in Las Vegas. The 25-year-old rapper was shot 4 times and died in a hospital less than a week later. A grand jury in Clark County charged Mr. Davis on 1 count of murder with use of a deadly weapon, plus a gang enhancement, a prosecutor said in court on Friday. Mr. Davis, whose arrest was earlier reported by the Associated Press, is in custody without bail. Despite plentiful speculation, evidence and reporting across nearly 3 decades, no charges had ever been filed in the shooting of Mr. Shakur, who was one of the most popular artists of the 1990s, with tracks that brought poetic gravitas to confrontational gangster rap. But talk of the case was revived in July, when the Las Vegas police executed a search warrant at a home in Henderson, Nevada, connected to Mr. Davis. Mark DiGiacomo, a chief deputy district attorney in Clark County, said in court on Friday that Mr. Davis was the on-ground, on-site commander who ordered the death of Mr. Shakur and the attempted murder of Marion Knight, the rap mogul known as Soog, who was driving the car holding the rapper. Clark County, Nevada District Attorney Steve Wolfson said during a news conference Friday, "I know a lot of people have been waiting for this day." Shakur's stepbrother, Mopreme Shakur, said he was cautiously optimistic about the news of Davis's arrest. "We still have to find out about accomplices, if there are any. And you still have to find out about motive, you know. And it's all sad because it didn't have to be this way," he said, when reached by phone Friday. "It's messed up, and a reminder that my brother still ain't here, but it's nice to have some accountability." In his 2019 record, Mr. Davis, who goes by the name Kefi D, recounted a gang dispute that escalated after Mr. Shakur and his associates beat up Mr. Davis's nephew, Orlando Anderson, following the boxing match at the MGM Grand Hotel. "Them jumping on my nephew gave us the ultimate green light to do something," Mr. Davis said in the memoir, Compton Street Legend. "Tupac chose the wrong game to play." According to a copy of the charge filed in Clark County District Court, prosecutors accused Mr. Davis of obtaining a gun for the purpose of seeking vengeance against Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight, and of handing off the weapon either to his nephew or someone else in the Cadillac, with the intent that this crime be committed. Mr. Davis is the only person in the car who is still alive. Mr. DiGiacomo acknowledged in court that the broad outlines of what had occurred that night were known to the police as far back as 1996. What was lacking was admissible evidence to establish this chain of events, the prosecutor said, noting that Mr. Davis then began to describe his role publicly. He admitted within that book that he did acquire the firearm with the intent to go hunt down Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight. At a news conference on Friday, the Las Vegas police confirmed that Mr. Davis's own words reinvigorated their case, starting with a television appearance he made in 2018. "We knew at this time that this was likely our last time to take a run at this case, Lieutenant," Jason Johansson of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department said. Mr. Davis had avoided directly naming the person who opened fire in recent interviews. But in a taped confession released by a former Los Angeles Police Department detective who investigated Mr. Shakur's murder, Mr. Davis told the police that it had been Mr. Anderson, his nephew, who was known as Baby Lane. Mr. Anderson was questioned by officers investigating Mr. Shakur's death, but was killed in a shooting in 1998. In his memoir, Mr. Davis, who has also been known as Keith D, said that after the shooting, the men abandoned the car and walked back to the hotel, picking the vehicle up the next day and taking it back to California. It was cleaned and painted before it was returned to the rental agency days later, Mr. Davis said. By that point, it was too late for any forensics to be accurate and reliable, he noted. Immediately after Mr. Shakur's death, there was a flurry of activity in the investigation. More than 20 people were arrested in connection with shootings that the police said were suspected to be related gang attacks. But as the years went on without any charges, Shakur's killing and the death of the notorious B.I.G., his friend-turned-rival, 6 months later, fueled conspiracy theories and accusations that the police had not worked hard enough to bring his killers to justice. The killings became the subjects of books, podcasts, TV series, and films, further elevating Mr. Shakur, known for albums such as Me Against the World, on which he rapped about a life imperiled by violence, and All Eyes on Me, one of the genre's first double albums to a mythic role in hip-hop. The enduring fascination with these tragic events underscores the impact of Mr. Shakur's life and music on the cultural landscape of hip-hop.